Hello, good evening, and welcome to today's program. My name is Tunde Disu. You are so welcome to Become a Better Man. This is our weekly program where we look into attributes and values that we can add to ourselves to become better in who we are and what we do and how we relate and different things to do with our personal development. It's been a wonderful journey so far. This is our week 49. Olatunrewaju from Nigeria. Thank you, sir, for joining us. You're very welcome. And every week we look at a topic. We pick a topic, we break it down, we digest it, we try to milk it, we try to get everything out of it. Bra Israel, Ayo Adeyemo, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. So it is a continuation of the same pattern that we're going to do today. In fact, this topic today is something that we have been looking at in the past 2 weeks, and somehow it keeps growing on me. As soon as I'm thinking, all right, this is the last episode of it, something else will come up, something else will happen, another revelation, another angle of it will be opened up, and I think if it's blessing me during my studies and in my preparation, it is just equally good for me to share it with you so that you too can benefit from what I'm finding, what I'm seeing, what I'm enjoying. So today we're continuing on the same topic of gratitude, developing the discipline of gratitude. However, on today's program, we will be looking at developing your gratitude muscle. Developing your gratitude muscle. Shade Antwi, thank you so much, sir, ma'am, for joining me. Tokwe Okwasonya, wow. Thank you, sir, appreciate you. And so today we're looking at developing your gratitude muscle. You remember last week we were looking at the obstacles, the things that stop people from giving gratitude, from being a grateful person. Things that has blocked you or blocked me or stopped us from expressing gratitude, not just for what people have done to us and for us, but just to be appreciative of what God has added to our lives. And you remember when we started, we talked about the fact that gratitude has two sides. The first side is for you to affirm that there is some goodness that God has deposited into your life. There's some goodness that people around you, facilities around you, technology, the government, the system, they have added and contributed to make you who you are today. And the second aspect of gratitude, we said, is to also appreciate the fact that all these good things that are in your life and in my life, they are there not just based on our ability, my intelligence, my capacity, my education, or my connection. Primarily, most of them are there completely out of what you or myself we have contributed to our lives. So gratitude is both the affirmation of those good things and the recognition of the fact that there are other contributing factors all around us that has brought us to where we are. Mr. Webajo, thank you, sir, for joining me. I appreciate you, sir. So so last week we talked about the obstacles that will stop people from showing gratitude. Some of the things that, whether in most cases we don't even know them, we didn't recognize them, we didn't even appreciate them as obstacles. We talked about things like our natural inclination to focus on the negative, to only see the bad, to only see what is not working, to major on the minor and avoid or just completely ignore the major, to look at the bunch of roses and only see the thorns that are on the stem. So we said one of the things that stop people from showing gratitude is the penchant, the inclination, the natural inclination of human beings to focus on the negative. The second thing we said was the issue of familiarity. When you are too familiar, when you have something at your disposal, all the time it is there in your face, everywhere you turn, you have it, you tend to lose recognition of the value that item or that thing or that person is actually adding to your life. And so, because of that, you tend to take people for granted, like your spouse. He's always there. She's always there. So you tend to take them for granted. Your children, your job, your health, your everything around you, because they are always there, because we are relaxed about them, we are familiar with them, we have the tendency naturally to take them for granted. Another thing we talked about that makes people ungrateful is envy. Just being envious of what other people have. Covetousness. Wanting to have what they have. Why can't it be you that got the promotion? After all, we all started in this organization at the same time. How come they are having another children? They've already got 4 children. Now they're having another children. And we are still believing God for even one. Envy destroys gratitude. And we also talked about pride. We talked about busyness and the fact that we're too busy nowadays and we're easily distracted. Those are some of the things we said will block people from being grateful. Another factor that we looked at was wrong expectations. Wrong expectations. And when I have had the privilege of counseling and mentoring people, especially in relationships. And one of the biggest cause of trouble in relationships is wrong expectations. Or expectations that has not been expressed to the other party, and yet you are expecting it to be delivered. Now, thank God this person is your spouse. But you must remember, they are not mind readers. They cannot see what's going on in your head. Unless you verbalize it or express it, they will not know how to meet that demand or that need in your life. So wrong expectations is another factor that will stop people from being grateful. You see, ladies and gentlemen, gratitude gives you the understanding that you are never, and I can't stress this enough, you are never totally entitled to all the things in your life. You are never completely entitled to them. Now you could say, whoa, Tunde, slow down. I put myself through 4 or 5 years in the university to get the degree. And with that degree, now I got a job. And you are telling me I'm not entitled to it? Yes, you are not. Do you know how many people enrolled in that same degree on the same day with you, sat in the same lecture room for the 4 or 5 years that you were there, got the same degree, and still 5-10 years later, they still haven't got a job? Do you know how many didn't even finish the degree? Do you know how many who got a job, got a degree, and they were fired? Do you know how many things that are happening in other people's lives? So it's not just about you getting the degree. It is these other things that are added to it to put you in a place where you can use your degree, as it were, as a key to open the door into that job that you have. So before we get on this high horse of I made myself, I achieved this, there's nothing wrong in being proud of your achievement. But we must remember that we are not totally, completely, 100% entitled. We should get away from this entitlement mentality as far as the things around us and the people that God has put in our lives to help us and share the life with. What we need to do is to understand that everything that we have, everything that we touch, everything about us, it's an opportunity. You have been extended an opportunity. I have been given, for instance, an opportunity to sit here tonight and speak into this camera so that you can see me. I will never take it for granted, because it is just because I can sit here and talk does not mean you should sit there and hear and listen. It is an opportunity, it's a privilege, and must never be taken for granted. Once you realize that life doesn't owe you anything, once you get it into your psyche that irrespective of what you have and where you are, it is a gift. When you realize that, you will see everything as a blessing. You will see everything as a gift. You will appreciate everything, big, small, or in between. Gratitude, we said last week, that doesn't happen. It's a habit. It's a choice. It's a decision. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking. It's a way you carry yourself. It's a mindset. Gratitude is a mindset. And the truth is, there's no neutrality between whether you are grateful or you are an ingrate. There is no in between. You are either a grateful person or you're not. There is no such a thing as, well, maybe I'm a little here. Now, we are all at different stages in our journey. And that is why tonight's topic is very important as we look at how to develop and grow this mindset, this mentality, the muscles that are required for us to be ultimately be seen, regarded, referred to, and referenced as a grateful person. Are you ready to ride this train with me tonight? If you have not shared this program, please let's go and share it. Whoa! Ajulo, thank you, ma. Wow, thank you for being part of today's program. Adela Latif, thank you. My great uncle, Uncle Joe, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Last week we looked at those obstacles, but the good news is this. Even though there are all these obstacles that stop people from being grateful, even though there are these challenges and hurdles and reasons and excuses and whatever you want to call it that stops people from being grateful people, gratitude at the end of the day is a habit. And the good news about habit is you can learn it, you can develop it, and you can even grow it. You can become better at a habit, good or bad. I'm recommending the good habit, by the way. You can become better. You can intentionally cultivate this attitude of gratitude. You can develop and grow the discipline. You can improve and increase yourself. You can put yourself in a place where it becomes a second nature. You don't even have to think about it. Attitude can be trained. Gratitude, rather, can be learned, can be developed, can be grown. By regularly training your gratitude muscle, gratitude becomes a second nature. It becomes something that you default to naturally. Thank you, Rita Van, for joining us. Genesis, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Now, when I talked about developing the muscles, the gratitude muscle, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park. It's going to take some work on your part and on my part. But let's face it, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. When you look at the benefits that will accrue, and like we've seen in the past and we will see as we go along, some of the wonders that life will add to you, some of the great experiences that you will come to cherish, some of the feelings, the inner feelings that you can't even explain, they're just there, and it makes you feel 6 feet taller than you are because of this attitude or this habit of gratitude. But like I said, it's going to take work. And remember, anything that you need to learn, you need to give it time to grow. You need to give it time to grow. Because what starts as a conscious, chosen behavior, the more you practice it, the more you repeat it, the more you involve in it, the more you engage in it, you will eventually become ingrained in yourself, in your system. It becomes your default button, as it were. And this is what will happen when it becomes your default setting. A wonderful life cycle will start. The more good you recognize in your life, the more you are grateful for the things in your life. Sorry, the more you recognize the good things in your life, the more grateful you become. And the more grateful you become, the more your mood, your health, your relationships will change and improve and increase and get better. And the more they get better, the more good things will come back to you, and the more you will have reasons to be thankful and to be grateful for. So as you can see, developing these muscles is worth the effort. It is worth the time. And I hope you will agree with me. If you agree with me, I pray God give you the grace to do what is required. There's a French proverb that says, gratitude is the memory of the heart. Gratitude is the memory of the heart. One of the, if not the, but one of the great differentiators between people who are grateful and the ingrates, one of the dividing line between them is that grateful people have learned to remember. If you want to be a grateful person, remember to remember. I'll say that again. If you want to be a grateful person, the key is for you to remember to remember. Because the ingrates, those who are not, those people who are just like the opposite of gratitude people, if you know what I mean. The biggest issue with them is forgetfulness. The biggest issue with them is forgetfulness. What do I mean by that? Your ability to see all things. We were talking earlier on about one of the obstacles as being familiar with things around you. But your ability to sit back and look at all things in a fresh way and recognize the abundance that you have, the blessings that are in your life, rather than you focusing on what you don't have, will help you to cultivate this tendency to remember, or the ability to remember. Because you look back and you think, wow, what would life have been like if I didn't have this? What would life would be like if this never happened? What would life would be like if I never met that person? If I never attended that function? If I never traveled to that place? If I never did what I did? The ability to sit back and look at things from a fresh angle, from a different perspective, will help you to develop the ability to remember. Because those who are the ingratitude people, the issue they have is that they easily forget things. They forget what others have done for them just few days ago, just few weeks ago, just a couple of years down the line, or even centuries and decades down the line. I still remember most of the people that gave me heads up in life. I know people, I know situation, I remember, and I make it a point of duty every given opportunity to never be tired of giving gratitude to these people, to appreciate them, to honor them, to respect them, to really pour my love on them because of what they have done in my life. My brother, Disukolawole, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Ingratitude people who are ingrate, they forget even the joy that they've just experienced a few minutes ago. It's like it was never there. It's like it never happened. And that ability to forget things and move on to the next one. Like I said earlier on, our busyness and the fact that we're easily distracted is another thing that is causing that. We forget that memory is moral. We forget that memory, gratitude is the memory of the heart. Memory is what helps us to remember to remember. To remember to remember. And when you look at all these things, it brings us to the core of today's program. Maybe you are a naturally grateful person. Naturally, you are very grateful, you appreciate, you honor, you recognize, you value. Maybe that's who you are. Thank God for your life. Maybe you are not that completely, but you are working on your way to it. Welcome to the club. Or maybe you are on the opposite side where it just doesn't happen to you. You are not the kind of person that will easily be grateful for things. Not because you are mean, it's just not your person, if you know what I mean. It's not just in you. You don't like to just shower people with praise and express how you actually feel about something that somebody's done or something that's in your life. If that is you, this is a perfect platform for you. Because today we're going to be looking at how to develop the habit of gratitude. How to develop your gratitude muscle. What does it take? What do I have to do to grow in this area? Remember, this platform is called Become a Better Man. Part of you becoming a better you, part of you becoming a better person is some of these attributes that have been added to all of us as we go on this journey of discovery. I know I have grown, and I know so many based on feedbacks and testimonies and comments and all of that. We are all growing. So today is another opportunity for us to add another feather to our cap, as it were. How to develop your gratitude muscle. The first way of developing your gratitude muscle is by you know, there's this thing in French they call carpe diem, seize the moment. The first way to develop your gratitude muscle is to savor the good in your life, the good things that's happened to you, is to deliberately stop yourself and enjoy the moment. Remember, we said gratitude is the virtue of memory, is the heart of memory. A grateful person has a heart of memory, an ability to remember. But you see, you can only remember to the degree to which you allow that incident, that experience, that contact, that relationship, that benefit, that blessing. The more you allow it to permeate beyond your physical, into your inner person, deeper into you, the more you are able to do that, the longer you will remember, and the more you will live in that bubble of that experience, which will keep you in remembrance and help you to remain grateful for eternity. So the number one way to develop your gratitude muscle is to develop the ability to savor the good, to enjoy the moment, to capture the moment, and don't let it go. Don't let it just slip through your fingers like the sand. The ability to do that. You see, happiness does not consist in things. And I think that's another aspect where we miss it. We think the things we have are the things that are making us happy. They're not. What makes us happy is not the thing, it's the experience, the knowledge, the realization, the appreciation that we have that thing. That's what makes us happy. It is not the thing itself. Yes, the thing will serve some purpose, will meet some need and all of that. But the true sense of happiness and enjoyment that we derive is not in the thing. It's in the feeling, the thought, the realization that you have it. Take, for instance, maybe it's the 18th, the 20th of the month, and the pocket is running low. And you think, well, in another week or so, you'll get paid. Now, when you get paid, It's not the arrival of that money in your hand or in your bank account that makes you happy. It is the knowledge, just the thought that, yes, I can pay that bill now. Yes, I can give my son that money now. Yes, I can buy that food now. Yes, I can enjoy. That sense is what makes you happy, not the money itself. But you see, our universal tendency to concentrate on the negative over the positive has robbed us of the ability to be grateful. Somebody said the difference between being grateful and being an ingrate is likened to the difference between a Velcro and a Teflon. A Velcro and a Teflon. A Velcro is something, it's like two-sided thing, and once you bring them together, they just stick together. You have to really yank it apart. That's a Velcro. This funny thing is, bad experiences, bad memories, they kind of just stick to us like Velcro. We hold on to them. We don't want them to go. They refuse to even be detached from us. Teflon, on the other hand, it's if you have children who are still in school, when they buy their school uniform, if you look at the label, you will see they write it there that it has been finished with Teflon. What Teflon does is it stops water, oil, stains, whatever, to stick to the uniform. As soon as anything hits the school uniform, because of the finishing with Teflon, the water, the oil, the dirt, the stain will just glide off, so that the school uniform will remain as clean as it is. And that's exactly how good things, good experience, good memory, good insight, good feelings, if you have not learned how to savor the moment, good experiences will just hit you and it will glide off like a Teflon, as if you have been covered or finished with Teflon. Somebody once said, the good that men do, they are written in water, but the bad that they do, they are cast in stone. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say here. By your ability to hold the moment, seize the moment, enjoy the season, just milk it for all it's got, will help you to remember for a long time. For instance, most of us don't eat food. We devour them. We don't eat food. All we do is chop, 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 and you think you have eaten. But we haven't. I don't know if you've watched any of these food programs on TV, like MasterChef, or any of those programs. After the whole food has been prepared and the judges now are ready to judge, if you notice, they take a scoop, they put it in their mouth, and they hold on for a few seconds before they bring the fork or the spoon or whatever it is they're using, before they bring it up. And even after they've released the cutlery, they hold on to that food in their mouth. What are they doing? They are trying to savor the aroma, the spices, the tenderness, or otherwise, the crispiness of the food in their mouth. They allow their taste bud and the walls of their mouth to do its wonders and just find whatever hidden ingredient that's in that food. And that's why they'll say, well, that was nice, but I think the lemon was too strong, and the oregano was not enough. And you're thinking, that oregano was grinded into the thing way at the beginning. How did you know it was not enough? Because they allowed the food to stay a bit longer in their mouth. Their taste bud was able to interact with the food. It's the same thing when it comes to your life and my life. We need to learn to just hold together that moment. Most things that happen to us in life, they are going at a very fast speed, but we have to deliberately hold it Hold that experience and don't let it go easily. When something good happens to you, big or small, let me use myself as an example. Thank God for my children. But do you know that every now and again, when any of my children calls Dad, there is a leap of joy that just, they call me Dad all the time. But every now and again, it hits me. And I just want to stay in that state of, did I just hear that? Did somebody just call me Dad? Now, it might not mean a lot to you, but that instant for me is, I could live for that. And what I do is, at that instance, whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, I stop and just enjoy the voice of my child calling me. And what that does is, my love, my heart, my everything goes towards that child. I just want to hug that child, give him or her a good shake about. That is part of how to develop your gratitude muscle. Take a mental picture of that experience, of that instance, and then file it in your memory. Store it away somewhere where you can reach to it and play it again and again and again. And the more you play it, the more you contact it, the more you reference it, the happier you are, the more grateful you become. So the number one way to develop your gratitude muscle is to learn to savor, learn to seize the moment, learn to enjoy the experience, and hold on to that joy and that feeling and that natural inclination to stay and sleep at that place. Because what you're doing is, you're not letting it be a head knowledge only. You're allowing all other parts of your body to partake of the experience. And guess what? It will last long. And the longer it lasts, the more grateful you will become. I don't know if that's helping anybody. Please, if you have not shared this program, let's quickly at this point hit the share button and let's share it so others can benefit from it. The second way by which you can develop your gratitude muscle is to reframe your perspective. Change the way you see things. Make a deliberate decision to see things differently. In life, you cannot control what will happen to you. I have no control over what can happen to me or what will happen to me. But the control power that we have is, number one, how we feel about what has happened. And number two, how we respond about what has happened. We have absolute, total control over that. We do. I remember reading about some survivors of the concentration camp in Germany during the Second World War. And one of the men that I saw in that program said what kept him going was he kept saying to himself, you can chain this body, you can torture this body, but my mind, you won't touch it. And because he kept that good perspective of who he was and what was going on, he could see through it. He refused for himself to be broken to the point where he would die before his death. So the ability to see things from a different perspective. In life, what disturbs us about things is not what has happened to us. Our issue is not about the situation that has just happened or that happened in our lives. That is not the problem. The problem is how we see it, how we value it, how we express it, how we hold it, how we contact it, how we interact with it. our views of the issue that is in our lives is the main reason why we are being tormented by those things, not those things itself. See, gratitude, ultimately, gratitude depends not on the circumstances that you can't control, but it depends on your perspective and your attitude towards that circumstance. You and I, we have the ability, the power to choose what and how we feel and how we respond. Another way to deal with our mental frame regarding issues in our lives is to, how can I say this? When you have a negative situation, a negative circumstance, you're dealing with a challenge or something that is seemingly overwhelming, try to examine it from a less than ideal situation. Try to examine it from a different perspective. Try to frame it in a better light. Try to ask yourself, if this didn't happen, what if this other one had happened? Which is a worse situation than the situation you are dealing with. When you are able to come out of the game, out of the situation, out of the circumstance, as it were, and you are able to reframe and reshape and look at it from a different perspective, suddenly the same challenge, the same mountain that a few minutes ago was like it's going to crush you and kill you and finish you, suddenly you are saying, thank you, Father. I thank you because of this thing. Because if this had not happened, what if it had happened this way? Reframing doesn't mean you are ignoring the downside of the situation. That's not what I'm saying. That's deception. That's self-deceit. Reframing your views and your perspective about the situation doesn't mean you are being naive in looking for silver lining where there is none. No, that's not what I'm saying either. It is not even a denial of the reality of what you are dealing with. That's not what I'm saying. It is the acknowledgement that the reality that you are facing, the situation that you are facing, the acknowledgement of the fact that it is a situation and it is subject to change. It is very subjective. Just because you are looking at it from the front view doesn't mean it's the same thing from the rear view, from the right side or from the left side, from the top or from the bottom. If you can just shift your focus slightly, you see a different angle. And suddenly, that same thing that seemed like is the end of the world will make you throw a big party on the street. So the second way to develop your gratitude muscle is to reframe your perspective. Change the way you look at things. Look at it from a different angle and see how beautiful things are. When things happen in our lives, we give them meaning. We say, oh, this has happened, so this is what it means. But the meaning that we have given to that thing is only an interpretation. And this interpretation, they are subject to change. The same situation today that seems like the end of the world, by tomorrow, it's a different story. Interpretation. For example, you can be devastated when you are laid off from work. It's like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? The bills are due, this and that. Being laid off work is a devastating experience. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, you can become grateful to say, well, this is an opportunity for me to start a fresh new career, to develop my skills, to develop my gift and be my own employer, start my own business. Can you see how viewing that being laid off at work, suddenly looking at it differently, it changes the perspective. Your head that was down that you've lost your job, Now your shoulders are up because now you can start your own business, you can start your own ideas and grow yourself and become successful at it. Another example, you can be bitter that your boyfriend or your girlfriend cheated on you. It's not good. But you can be grateful for this. The realization that maybe that person was not a marriage material at the end of the day. What would you rather have? To know now, or to go into the marriage and 4 years down the line, you are hit between your eyes with this same situation? You can be frustrated that your flight was cancelled. But then when you look at it from another angle, that gives you an extra night to stay with your family or your friends. That gives you an opportunity to not be in the aeroplane that will crash land and kill everybody. Can you see how looking at things from a different angle can completely change what we're seeing? You can concentrate on what's gone wrong. This is the choice you have. Either you concentrate on what's gone wrong, or put your attention, your effort, your focus on what's going right. You can either see the obstacle, or you look at the obstacle as a stepping stone to greater height. It comes down to your perspective, where you look at it from. And that will, in a long way, determine whether you are grateful or not. Another way by which you can develop and grow your gratitude muscle is by keeping a gratitude journal. Keep a gratitude journal. Keeping a journal is something that there's nothing you cannot keep a journal of. But keeping a gratitude journal is one of the most profound ways by which people who are not naturally grateful have grown and developed their gratitude muscle. It helps you to do some of the things we've covered. It helps you to capture the moment, your feelings at that instant. You can quickly write it down, and then every time you read that aspect of your journal, boom, there's joy all over you again. And that's when you pick up the phone and you call the person. Hey, John, I just want to say thank you. You know, 4 years ago, you were there for me. You gave me the heads up, and look where I am today. I'm just thinking, and I just thought I'll give you a shout again just to say thank you. Now, once you do that, you've just added 5 inches to John, because he's now going to go out looking for who needs help. John is here to help you. You are spreading the goodness just because you are grateful. When it comes to journal, there are several ways by which you can enhance your journaling, especially your gratitude journal. The tendency or the natural, the default way as far as journal is concerned is people try to write in their journals every day. Now, there's nothing wrong in that. If you have something to write every day, by all means, go ahead and write in it. But when it comes to your gratitude journal, so that you don't get weary, where you come today and you're thinking, what am I going to write now? Has anything happened in my life that I'm grateful for today? To avoid that situation of getting weary, what you can do is maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, just sit down and write what has happened Monday to Wednesday, Thursday to Saturday, maybe twice a week, just write in your journal. By doing that, you deliver yourself from what is called gratitude fatigue, or the tendency for you to run out of what to write and then you start making up stories. It won't help you. So the first thing is reduce the number of times that you actually write. Instead of writing every day, maybe twice a week. Number 2, as far as gratitude journal keeping is concerned, be as specific and as detailed as possible. Remember, you're only writing twice a week. So not, oh, thank you for my lunch. When you read that 2 years down the line, it's going to be, what's the meaning of that? But when you are specific, when you are detailed, when you pour everything into that 2 or 3 lines in your journal, every time you read it, it will bring back the whole memory. Oh, thank you, my wife, for the way you make my sandwiches today. I like the way you slice the bread. The tomatoes were well ripened, and whatever it is you want to be grateful for. Remember, it doesn't have to be the Kilimanjaro mountain for you to be thankful for it. Little things, big things, in between things, small, whatever it is, be grateful. The more you do that, the bigger your gratitude muscle will grow. Be specific, be detailed. Another reason why you need to be detailed and specific is when you are writing it down. Remember, say something happened on Monday, and now on Wednesday you want to write about it. Because you are specific and detailed, for you to be specific and detailed, rather, you have to relive that experience all over again, so that you can write everything, the way it happened, the way she looked, the way he said it, the way it happened. And by you doing that, you are reliving the whole experience again. Guess what? That joy, that excitement will come back all over afresh again. 4 years down the line, you open that journal and you read it again. That same feeling will come back because you are detailed and you are specific about what is contained, what you are writing. And when you are writing, don't just write about the big things. Oh, thank you, Lord. I'm grateful for my new job, my new house, our new car. Oh, our dog is giving birth. Yes, those are great things, but don't just limit it to those things, the big things. Even the little things, they matters. When you are limited, when you limit your writing to the big things, again, there is the tendency for you to have gratitude fatigue. Because after you've written about your family, your job, your house, your car, your dog, your holiday, then what? 2 weeks will go by, you have nothing to write in your journal because you are only looking for the big things to write. No, everything goes in it. Everything goes in it. Everything goes in it. Think about anything and everything that brings you pleasure, that adds something of value to your life, big or small. Just write it down. Think of, I don't know, everything. Also, don't just write about people that has been a blessing to you. What about people that has been a blessing to your loved ones? What about your children's teacher in school? What about the canteen lady at work? What about the lollipop lady that stops the vehicles in the morning so that the children can go to cross the road to go to school? What about the janitor in your brother's office who, when your brother's wife's car won't start, the janitor had to go and find jump cable and help her and whatever? Be grateful for all those things, because the more you widen your capture area of things to be grateful for, the more you will have things to write in your journal, and the less you will become gratitude fatigue. I hope this is helping you. Oh, the next way to develop your gratitude muscle is by fasting. Fasting, yes. Like no food, yes. That's what I mean by fasting. One of the reasons people don't show gratitude or people are ingrate is because they take things for granted. They take people for granted. They are used to having it. They are, oh yes, oh yeah, that's, oh yeah, that's, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. But one of the ways by which you can discipline yourself to develop your gratitude muscle is by deliberately fasting on those things. I remember years ago when I was in primary school, and there was an election coming on in Nigeria. I remember vividly Chief Obafemi Awolowo of blessed memory came to our village and was campaigning. And he was talking about the fact that he's not detached from the commoners, from the normal people. He's not a celebrity conscious, as it were. And he said one of the things he has learned to do in his life is, for 3 nights every month, he will not sleep on his bed. He will sleep on the bare floor for 3 nights every month. What's he doing? He's fasting the pleasure of sleeping on the bed so that he can remain, he can have the perspective of a family, of somebody who has no bed but sleeping on the floor, so that when he is now in a position to make a change, he knows what he's talking about. So by deliberately sabotaging yourself from enjoying the benefits in your life, so that you can come back to reality, as it were, it's another way of developing your gratitude muscle. Because for maybe for some of us, it will be a wake-up call for you to acknowledge and appreciate even the little things in your life. You don't know how important it is for you to be able to put your key in the car ignition and turn it, and it will start. And you drive past people in the bus stop and people walking down the street in the cold weather until that car will not start in the morning. No jump lead will jump it to start. Nothing you do will get it to start, and you still need to go to where you're going. Then you have to go and queue at the bus stop. It doesn't have to be something as drastic and as that. But fasting helps you to wake up to reality, as it were. For instance, spend a whole day without eating food to help you appreciate children who are going 2-3 days without food somewhere in the world. Try it. Okay, maybe not food. Some of us cannot live, most of us, not some of us, nearly all of us these days, we cannot live without our mobile phones. Can you fast a whole day, not use your mobile phone? See how you feel. Can you do a whole day, don't open Facebook, see how it feels? Can you go a whole day where you are not using any electricity in whatever form or shape? Can you do that and see how it feels? I saw something on Facebook, was it 2 days ago, where a lady said she decided not to speak, not to say anything. I think it was for 3 days or for a week, and she said it changed her life completely. Now, we don't value what we have until we've lost them. But instead of waiting for you to lose that thing, deny yourself of its pleasure so that you can once again appreciate and relive the experience of the joy and satisfaction that same thing brought to you the very first time you had it. Fasting is a way by which you can train yourself to know how to be grateful for what you have, what is in your life. The scales of blessing blindness will fall off your eyes quicker than you can say amen, because all of a sudden you realize, my goodness, what have I become? Scarcity sharpens gratitude. You don't know the value of your tap running water until you turn the tap one day and there is no water. Suddenly, it's like, do we have a bottle of water somewhere? Scarcity sharpens gratitude. And in a time in which we are all gluttons with every pleasure and convenience, every good things and their trimmings, sometimes we must create this scarcity ourselves deliberately for us to be able to appreciate and grow and develop our ability to be grateful for what we have. I want to thank all of you that are still with us and are joining us. It's an honor. Another way by which you can develop your gratitude muscle, develop your tendency, your habit to be grateful, is to practice what is called memento mori. Memento, maybe I'm not pronouncing it well, but it's called memento mori. And what that means is, remind yourself of the fact that one day you're going to die. Yeah, whether you say amen or not is irrelevant, because the Bible said it is appointed to man one day to die. So one day you and I are going to sleep and we will not wake up. Close our eyes, we can't open it. It's called death. By you reminding yourself that a day is coming, that this life will not be there for you, and reflecting on the fact that that day, because you don't know it, I don't know, it could be right at this instant that we're talking. When you think about that, when you try to imagine that experience, every element of complaint will disappear in your life just like that. And you begin to value and appreciate and be grateful for every additional second that you live, every additional day that you have, every additional moment that you have to spend with your loved ones. You will honor and appreciate it by you thinking a day is coming. And that day could be even now. Suddenly, life will begin to make a different meaning to you. Ojo Adesua said, "Sir, you are right. I tried to stay a day without my phone, but it was not easy." You see what I'm talking about? When people, for instance, when they are reminded that an experience will soon end. Have you ever been on holiday? Oh, you're enjoying the weather, you are enjoying the travel, you are enjoying and then somebody said, "Have you packed your bag? You know you're going back tomorrow." Suddenly, that last 24 hours, you want to extend it to 88,000 of hours, because suddenly you realize this is coming to an end now. This is about to finish. This is running out now. What can I do? The first thing you think about is, how can I enjoy the last few moments that I have? When you put yourself, when you think about that, when you try to experience that, it will kill your inability to be grateful. It will deliver you from every sense of entitlement mentality. It will strip away every item, every ligament, every iota of pride and this and that. Suddenly, different things become more important to you. For example, you have little children. They're running around the house. They are driving you almost out of the street. I mean, you are chasing them, you are stopping them, you are caring for them, and you're thinking, my goodness, where did these children come from? It's not easy, especially for our wives. You girls are doing a wonderful job. I honor you. But in the midst of that, in the midst of you pulling out your hair and throwing your bag away and just trying to get them together and do this and the homework and this one is crying, in the midst of all of that, as tough as it is, sit back and just imagine a day is coming when your son, your daughter will say, Mom, Dad, I guess I'll see you in about 3 months' time. I'm off to the uni. What do you mean you're off to the uni? Oh, yes, we resume next week. We resume in 3 days. And suddenly, all those running around and chasing them about and whatever, they have no meaning anymore. All you're thinking about is, my goodness, this boy, this girl, this my baby is going to be away. I've only got 3 days. What can I do to cram everything into these 3 days and take him out, take her out, do this? Because it dawned on you that this season is about to end. This time is running out. This opportunity, this privilege, this exposure, this contact that you have is about to finish. When you think about that, when you consciously bring yourself to that point all the time, most of the time, every time, whatever you have, whatever is around you, whatever is with you, whatever belongs, whatever is associated or connected with you, you'll be grateful for them. You will be grateful for the day that your child poured water or milk or coffee or juice on your beautiful carpet and ruined the carpet. Suddenly the carpet is immaterial, because now for the next 6 months, maybe for a year, that child is going away. My daughter was telling me that in South Korea, every male child at some point, maybe age 18 or so, must go and serve in the South Korean army. All of them. Now, as a parent, you could be having issue with that child, but then suddenly that child is now going to serve in the army. You never know what North Korea is going to do tomorrow, and suddenly it hits you. My child. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, for us to every now and again come to the edge of the cliff, as it were, and live on this point of memento mori, where you think everything could finish like that just now. Everything could come to an end like that just now. Everything that are seemingly readily available to you, all of them could just go. The people in New Orleans, they were eating and dancing 1 minute. The next minute, tsunami came, Hurricane Katrina came and wiped everything out, just like that. Earthquake. Everybody were in their house, doing their thing, and suddenly the whole place was shaking, and everything came down, and they lost everything. Mudslide. tornadoes, you name it. It could happen just like that. And suddenly, that same car, you've told the whole street, don't you go near my car. If I see a scratch on that car, suddenly you stand there and the wave just smash the car against another wall, and whoosh, it's gone down, never to be seen again. When you bring yourself to that cliff edge from time to time, to live in that zone, to experience, to imagine what life will be at that point, you will have no choice. I don't care how hard-hearted you are. You will look around and want to hug anything and everything and appreciate everything and thank God for everything. Excuse me. These are some of the ways by which you can develop your gratitude muscle. I hope tonight has been a blessing to you. I hope something we talked about tonight you will take it away. But don't just take it away. Use it. Practice it. Make a decision to make a difference in your life and in the lives of others and people around you by you becoming more grateful. Remember, the key to being grateful is remember to remember. If a man can think, he will remember how good God has been to him. He will have no choice, or she will have no choice, to lift up two holy hands and give thanks to God Almighty. If you can look around you and just imagine what your life would be without your wife or your husband, your son or your daughter, your neighbor, your friends, your colleagues, your workplace, the street, the government. If you can just look around you and try to live without those things and see how terrible life will be, you will have no choice but to be grateful for the things and the people in your life and around you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you from my heart. Thank you for tonight's program. Thank you for being part of the program. Thank you that you have taken this time out to just come together and let's fellowship and learn as we continue on this journey. This journey is getting better and better. The fun experience is increasing more and more as we continue. And I know in my heart of heart, we are all better than we were 49 weeks ago when we started. But the joy that I have is not how far we've come. The joy in my heart is what awaits us in our destination. Because there is no telling what you will look like, what I will look like when we arrive at that destination. Remember, winners don't quit and quitters don't win. We have a destination. We are people of destiny. We have a purpose. We have an assignment. There is a goal set before us, and we will not stop until we have achieved everything and become everything and have everything that God purposed in his heart for us before the foundation of the earth. So until next week when we meet again, this is Tunde Disu once again saying, thank you. I appreciate you. I honor you. I respect you for your time, your commitment, and your contribution to this platform. Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you again next week. Till then, have a wonderful week. God bless you. Bye-bye.